talk about WWE Monday Night Raw. To talk about the show tonight. Now the show was pre-taped. It was pre-taped last week because wrestlers and the workers are given the week off to celebrate for the holidays, to celebrate for Thanksgiving. So this show was pre-taped. It was 2 hours. This show ended. Bronson Reed defeated Seth Rollins with the help of the Bloodline and Solo. War games are clearly being set at a Survivor Series. Now, my video is going to be like an hour long, an hour and 20 minutes long. My video is sponsored by my favorite podcaster like JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling, Joe Cronin, Post Wrestling, Wrestling Inc., Solomon the Sound Off, and other YouTubers that I know. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments and what y'all think about this show. Now we will talk about the news and rumors for AEW. Now since it was Monday Night Raw, now we're gonna talk about now. Maybe I'll make the video pretty short. Oh, like it goes like an hour long. All right, so we got a few things to talk about on here. We got post wrestling. All right, hold on. There's our commercials.
It's not. I don't think you're gonna have the worldwide this fight, but especially in the US and North America, Christmas Day games, they're gonna be massive. Yeah. So, but by the time it gets to wrestling,
Rhea Ripley came back tonight.
yeah, there you go. So we also saw these vignettes. I know you haven't gotten confirmation yet, but the Dakota Lyra vignettes imply a secondary title coming to the Raw Women's Division. So, FightFulSelect.com, best $5 a month in the business, $54 a year in the business. They weren't told anything about a secondary title last week. Obviously, they're not being told this week because there's no show. They weren't told anything Friday either. Then they see the tournament, and there are no
exciting. So I'm honestly thrilled that we're at least getting her to be part of it. And I'm looking forward to the War Games match for the women, particularly. Man, I love the way that Jade and Bianca and Io and Naomi all looked when they were all just sort of standing there before Rhea came out. Like they looked like a power freaking group. And the other thing I want to mention is what a change for Candice LeRae, Sean, because for the longest time, they weren't doing diddly squat with Candice LeRae. And recently, she has started to get more fans. I don't know how to.
I'm just gonna skip ahead. I'm not gonna show all of it.
Oh,
we'll save all that for then.
All right.
Slap the top.
All right. Now let's talk about the Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about what happened on the show. As you guys know, Survivor Series, Saturday, November 30th, the War Game. This is what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Now, this is how the show opened up. It opened up with all 10 women. We saw Rhea Ripley return, the War Game Challenge Awakening. So Rhea Ripley came out. Bianca, Jade, Io Sky, who's now a babyface, and Naomi against Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and who else was in it? We had Nia Jax, we had Candice LeRae. What a change for her. She's now on the team. So all five were in the win. They brawled. They already advertised the match for War Games. So we got all 10 women in the Women's War Game. Should be great. Now, War Games made sense because of the storyline with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Who's gonna win it? I'm not sure. Now, when Rhea came out, she came out with a mask. She's still a little bit injured, so she might not do too much in the match. I wonder how that's gonna work. After that, we did get Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega defeated Chad Gable and Ivy Nile in a pretty good match, decent. Now, women still not doing much, and I with Chad Gable. I mean, the American made it being both okay. They're doing fine. Women still and Selena Vega haven't really done much on the main roster, but they're doing okay. Now, we had a pretty good promo with The Miz and Karrion Kross. They wheelers and outsmarting the Wyatt Sits. So clearly, The Miz is still helping the Final Testament fight the Wyatt Sits. I don't know why. And then we did get a pretty good brawl with Gunther and Damian Priest. Gunther back the attack backfired on Damian Priest. Damian Priest got the upper hand. He been getting the upper hand on Gunther so far. Gunther been looking like shit in this feud. I'm hoping we get like a stipulation or something. So yeah. Now we had a pretty good match with Sheamus and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. The match ended in the DQ because Ludwig Kaiser came out. He attacked Braun and Sheamus and ruined this great title match. Now clearly the feud gonna end. Clearly the feud gonna continue. Maybe we'll get Ludwig involved. They're still building up Sheamus to take that Intercontinental title. Have a Braun Breaker, he'll keep it a little bit longer. We did get the War Raiders conquer Dirty Dominic and Carlito in a whatever match. The match was decent. It was fine. The War Raiders went over. After they won, they got attacked by Balor and JD McDonough. JD McFist. JD McDonough, I mean. So they attacked the War Raiders. Clearly to send up the tag team match for the tag team titles. I don't know if this is going to be a Survivor Series or they're going to be given to us on Raw. I'm not sure. Because these tag team titles have been irrelevant since WrestleMania. They've been an afterthought. Balor and McFiddle have not done anything with these titles. Hopefully they drop them to the War Raiders. Give them that. Give them a one. And can we at least they're setting up something with Finn Balor. Cause we did see a segment with Balor in the Judgment Day. I hope they're setting up Balor to leave the Judgment Day and be on his own. Hopefully, cause Balor he been shit with the Judgment Day. They haven't even made about him really. I mean, based on what I saw in that segment, it was about Dominic beating Damian Priest a few weeks ago. Now we got a pretty good segment with Bo Dallas, Issues and Unanimous warning to Karrion Kross and the Final Testament. I thought it was great. The feud being built up very, very slow. I thought it was very good. That was SmackDown. We already did SmackDown. Now, the main event was Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. For a pretty good match. I enjoyed the match at Crown Jewel better than the one they had Night on Raw, but a pretty good match. Bronson Reed got the win. He had help from the Bloodline. Now during the match, we did see the Usos and Sammy came out, and the Bloodline came out. They brought out the ring. The end of the match, Solo came out, was on top of the announce table. He distracted Seth Rollins, and then Bronson Reed caught him off the top rope and slammed him, hit the Tsunami, and get the 1, 2, 3. So Bronson Reed gets a victory. Clearly, Seth Rollins is looking to be the fifth guy in War Games. I think that's pretty obvious. Seth Rollins will be in War Games. He will be in War Games. It's pretty obvious. Rollins will be in War Games. So we know that Monday Night Raw gonna be on Netflix on January 6th, Los Angeles, California. The premiere to Until Doom in LA. Travis Scott will be the first WWE Raw of the Netflix era. Does Seth Rollins join War Games? Is he gonna join Roman Reigns in the OG? He made that very clear tonight that he didn't want nothing to do with Roman Reigns. He's okay siding with the Usos and Sami Zayn, but not Roman Reigns. I think they're setting that up. I think it's gonna happen. I think it has to happen. It just makes sense, even though it doesn't.
want more of it, and I feel like it just adds to the Creed brothers where they're not
So-
just
So help me God, if they lose after this, that's it. Because they put them together, and guess what? They've sucked together. I don't mean from a performance perspective. I mean from a getting wins perspective.
oh.
They need to win. I need these guys to win. They got great gear. Their gear looks incredible. They need to win. I'm okay with Rhea and Zelina winning this. I mean, listen, Rhea is a top talent. Zelina delivers every time she's given a chance in the ring. Fightful Award Gear of the Year winner, Zelina, mind you. Fightful Awards coming up in just a couple months. But yeah, I'm cool with Rhea and Zelina winning this. But it was more about American made afterwards.
Well, one thing that I really want to say, this is the most important thing that I have to say this whole entire show. We absolutely need to see Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable in a PLE match.
I mean, I don't think it'd be on a PLE.
No, I want it on a
scaled
PLE.
back. Like I wouldn't mind it on Saturday night's main event, but like I don't think they'll put it on like one of those 6-match cards. You know what I mean? Because they're so
They
small.
need to. I don't care how small they are. They need to. Please mark my words when I say they need to do this.
Oh man.
That would
But
be phenomenal. And I'm talking like really phenomenal.
I mean, listen, I would
Oh,
like it. I would like it. You know, as I have aged, I start to appreciate the time that we have, like with Rey Mysterio, Shelton Benjamin, and the like, a lot more. And I'm like, man, they're still performing at such a high level. It's like
Now hold on. I actually want to go back and see what else I missed.
Single person. It's just weird.
why the hell Vince bring him back? You know what I mean? Like, why?
That's happening at Saturday night's main
Yeah,
event.
there you go. There you go.
The finals are taking place on that show.
Oh, okay.
Before.
Yeah.
That made the match fun. Like she made the match cool with all of these creative moments with her and the ladder. Some of the things she did.
She's saying, Becky, what I can say is when I asked
The rematch that can't be contained.
Solo Sikoa's team gets him as their 5th man. We already knew that was going to happen before Bronson Reed even stepped into the ring tonight against Seth Rollins. And so I was curious if maybe there was going to be something that was kind of tacked on or added to the show, maybe at the very end, that would really kind of forward things a little bit, something maybe that we weren't aware of. That did not happen. Things pretty much the way that we expected them to. I will say this, though. Even though Raw was a taped show, it was better than last week. Just because the show was taped does not mean it can't be a good show. And I thought tonight's Raw easily was the better of the two shows compared to what we got last week. We had Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins in the main event. This was the rematch from Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins beat Bronson Reed in Saudi Arabia. He did not get the win over Bronson Reed tonight. And in fact, Solo Sikoa and his crew were there to provide the assist for Bronson Reed. And the parting shot that we got at the very end of Raw tonight was Bronson Reed holding his arm up with Solo Sikoa standing next to each other. So we know already that Bronson Reed is going to be man number 5 on the Solo Sikoa squad at Survivor Series. What we still don't know is who the 5th man is going to be on Roman Reigns' team. The OG bloodline, who will be the 5th man with Roman, Sami Zayn, Jimmy, and Jey Uso. Again tonight, they tried to recruit Seth Rollins onto their team. They tried to convince him, look, let's put our differences aside here. You were with us.
Oh,
you
that's
were
from
with
someone.
Sami and Jay
That's from
last year in
someone
War
who did
Games.
1,
And
2,
you put your
3,
differences
and I
aside with
trust
Cody
that.
Rhodes, and you
You tell
all
me that
teamed
is?
together.
I don't know
You
that.
can do it again this year. And Seth Rollins made it very clear he has no interest in being tag team partners with Roman Reigns. Under no circumstances can he see himself being in the same ring as tag team partners with Roman Reigns. He was adamant about this. Now, of course, that was before Solo Sikoa distracted him and caused him to lose his match. But he seemed pretty declarative about that fact. And so now we have 2 more Raws left. Actually, I think there's 1 more Raw. No, it's 1 more Raw. Or is it 2? I think it's 1. We have 1 more show left next Monday, not counting SmackDowns. Before we get to Survivor Series, that's right. It's the Full Gear pay-per-view is this weekend. That's right. Survivor Series is the following weekend. 1 more Raw left to go. What is going to happen now? Might we see someone other than the obvious Seth Rollins step in as the 5th man? He still has to be the favorite, but seems maybe a little bit less likely tonight after what he said in that backstage promo. We'll talk about what the possibilities are there, because this is what they are doing to try to drive interest and drama in these waning days here as we go into Survivor Series, because we already know it's a new bloodline. They opted to make it 5-on-5 instead of sticking to 4-on-4. So now all the drama is built around who the 5th man is going to be. That's really where all the drama is centered. So they have to have something big up their sleeve if everything is really based around this aspect of the story. Maybe they're saving a surprise for everybody. We'll talk about what that might be a little bit later on. The other big match we had on the show tonight was for the Intercontinental Championship. Ron Breakker defending against Sheamus, the one title that Sheamus has coveted that he has never won. For all of the championships and all of the accolades and achievements over 15 years in WWE, he's been the world champion. He's been king of the ring.
I only saw one, and I don't even remember it. I told.
Do is go ahead and throw this title match out there on a random taped episode of Monday Night Raw. So you knew we weren't going to get a new champion tonight, but that did not mean that we were not going to get a great fucking match between these two guys, which we did. It was great, but there's a bigger moment that you got to save for down the line. But it was how the match ended that was kind of out of left field, because it ended not on a double count out or a double disqualification or anything like that. It was because somebody interfered in the match. And it was somebody who we have already seen tangle with Sheamus on multiple occasions. And I can't say that that necessarily excites me. But there is something that they did tonight involving this individual where, you know, it gives me hope that maybe they are serious about doing something with him on his own and not attached to the other person that we normally see him out there. The Women's War Games match is also official, because if you're going to have a men's War Games, you got to have a women's War Games, even if there's really no need for it this year, but we're going to have one anyway. So now the field is set. Rhea Ripley is back a lot earlier than WWE originally would have expected, which is good for them because she could have been out for a lot longer. But there she was in her protective face mask tonight. And so she will lead the charge against Team Liv. It will be Team Rhea and Team Liv at Survivor Series. Those were the key developments on this show, and some other stories as well that were forwarded that we will talk about. Interestingly, a lot of talk about the Netflix debut, which is rapidly approaching, which I am both, I kind of find myself torn right now. On the one hand, I personally have been enjoying these 2-hour Raws. I do not miss 3-hour Raws. I will have to get used to them again, but I am not someone who, like, Raw is less than because it's 3 hours. Oh, the show's not.
Alright. Is Rollins the 5th man? The Bloodline screwed him in the main event.
This losing streak is a part of the story. It is a long-term story. I didn't
Posting screenshots that evidently the first episode of Raw.
Wow, full recap. That was quick. There's the full recap of the show of how the War Games are set for the women. Here's how the main event ended with Solo costing Seth Rollins his match. He waved Bronson Reed's hand. Now, yeah, Bronson Reed's Samoan, but even though that doesn't make any sense with the bloodline.
That man's on his shit as well. Shoot game. But this is a perfect comment of the existence. She was the baddest woman on the planet. just because she wore a tank
Always
top
know
and
me.
shot up a man with Windex.
They're not- Because the White Six are supposed to be this cool new act. You don't want to start a cool new act with their first big feud to be corny. Then the Final Testament, they were supposed to come out here and be badasses. They weren't supposed to be corny. And so
They're
that's
trying
why.
to get recording roles in Marine 7. Mind your business.
That's why I said it's corny. I haven't even. I think I
Mind your
don't
damn
think I've ever
business.
seen the Marine ever. I was never interested in even
First
watching.
one has the legend Robert Patrick. You ever watch Terminator 2?
I don't think I've seen Terminator 2. I think I only saw one, and I don't even remember it. I told you I don't care for action
You
films.
just watched Die Hard. You hadn't
I
watched
did like
Breaking
Die Hard
Bad.
a whole lot, though. I did like Die
You've
Hard.
never watched Terminator. You need to watch
I
Terminator
told
1
you.
and 2.
I feel like they would take this all the way to WrestleMania if they wanted to. Do they have to?
Yeah.
Should they? Those are two totally different questions. But if they wanted to, they could. I don't think they should. I think they should call it a day.
Denise, let me tell you a couple segments. I don't know where that came from, but she has never been retired. She made that abundantly clear. Like, hey, I straight up asked. I was like, hey, people are saying you're retired. She's like, I didn't retire. No way. But Rhea Liv, I don't think can go until Mania. I don't think you can drag that out for another 4 months at the maximum. Netflix or Rumble.
Nah, honestly, knowing WWE, I think they would do it all the way to WrestleMania.
Oh man.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think the way that they might think, and I feel
I hope not, because there's no waiting for the feud to drag out. It should end it and call it a day. The feud to be over.
You
it'd
had
be
low
this time.
standards. If you have standards. In my school, you weren't getting a B plus.
Kinds of celebrities like we saw at the UFC show the other night, or the Tyson and the Jake Paul boxing atrocity on Friday. So they're really going to build this up as a big deal, and it is rapidly approaching. These are the final weeks that we are in.
Hold on a second.
President-elect Trump confirmed.
A mass decoration program. Oh. Never mind. I might as well go back to this thing.
A part of the OTS family. I know, man. It's unbelievable. I know. Wow! And you guys are too kind, man. We got a new JT chant in the venue, man. Holy shit. That's louder than what we usually get on Wednesdays.
USA, just draft. That's how I feel. But also, don't draft people like Dijak that you're not going to use and you're going to cut right out.
See, like I'm worried of two things, right? With the draft, it's like on one hand, I feel like you do need it because with the last draft, nothing changed really. So you could do a draft just to make up for even the last draft. So I guess I'm worried that part of us is going to watch a draft and nothing's going to change again, or that they're going to change too much that isn't necessary to change just for the fact that they didn't change enough last time.
It's, well,
My
I mean, you
opinion is-
can't, if you switch everybody, you're
Then
just,
we stay with the same things. We're just changing colors.
exactly. So you can't change too much. But I mean, it's probably going to be a redraft when they do it, I would imagine. We had Braun Breaker, Sheamus. Rafael Garcia said Sheamus should have been in G1. A DQ, really? What was a no contest thanks to Lupe Kaiser, who interrupted a humper of a match. FightfulSelect.com. I did my backstage, or I did the Fightful Report podcast today. And in that, I do a Q&A, Denise. And somebody said 5 people from WWE and then elsewhere you would use to start a company, and who would be your world champion. And I named all the people. My champion would be Braun Breaker beating Roman Reigns in the finals of a tournament and launching like that new generation. That's how good I think Braun Breaker is. I believe everything he says, everything he does. I am invested in him as a performer. Like him last week being like, yeah, I don't mind whipping your old ass. Let's do it. Like, he is not afraid of anybody. He just loves to fight. He knows he's better at it than everybody else. And Sheamus, what the hell? This guy, how is he this good? How is he still this good? Denise, back in my day, I was watching WCW, watching Greg the Hammer Valentine barely be able to walk across the ring. Younger than this, I watched Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan in the main event of a match that
You can't
literally
Then they
put
tell
me
you
to
still
sleep.
can't wrestle. That's not Matt Tenson.
They were younger than
That's not Matt
Sheamus.
Tenson right there.
Well,
No matter
Royce
who,
Hart
no
a
matter,
lot
no
now,
matter,
though.
he was
Like, there's
very
a
free.
lot of
No matter
guys
who
that
in the
by
ring.
now. Well, okay, for example, like when WWE started phasing some of their top guys out back in the day, a lot of welcome to the correct. This is
Enough of these damn ads. Ah, come on already.
Oh, there. I'm here to save you. Week on Monday, you saw where all of this was going. So after Friday, we come to Monday, and the bloodline led by Solo Sikoa interfered and cost Seth Rollins the match tonight against Bronson Reed as he delivered the tsunami. 1, 2, 3, he got his win back from Crown Jewel. The biggest question coming out of this show, coming out of Friday's show on SmackDown, to me, was, is WWE going to do enough to tell the story of Seth Rollins teaming with Roman Reigns? I don't think they are. I don't think they can. I don't think that they would even venture down that path because there is no story. He told Sammy no. He told Solo no. He told Sammy, Jay, and Jimmy tonight no. And I put in quotes, under no circumstances will I team with Roman Reigns. Now you take that little nugget of promo that Seth Rollins delivered tonight and you apply it at the end of tonight's show, which was lame, as simple as could be. It was absolutely not exciting whatsoever. It was not the cliffhanger that we all wanted. I don't think Seth Rollins is the fifth man. I don't. This is the story that they're going with. They'd rather tell the story of who the fifth man is and not where is Paul Heyman, or the internal problems, the internal destruction of egos that is destroying the OG bloodline from within, and can they coexist? This is the story that they're opting to tell. Who is the fifth man? Bronson Reed is the fifth man for Solo. They're going to keep you guessing on who the fifth man is for Roman. But my biggest question was, can they tell a story of Seth Rollins really fitting into Roman Reigns' bloodline at Survivor Series for War Games? The answer is no. The answer is no.
Exactly.
Based off tonight's instance, based off tonight's happenings, there is absolutely zero way coming out of this show that Seth Rollins can, will, or should be a part of the OG Bloodline Survivor Series War Games team. It's not enough. What exactly is there for him to go out there and want to be in a diabolical double ring steel cage with 9 Samoans? I don't think tonight is really going to push him past that threshold, man. I don't. Oh, man, he lost to Bronson Reed tonight. Oh, man, Solo Sikoa. He just randomly appeared outside and he stood on the announce desk and he interfered and caused a little bit of a distraction for Seth Rollins, and he lost the match. 1, 2, 3, and Bronson Reed is in the ring and his hand is raised by the real tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. Give me a fucking break. At the end of tonight, whatever.
John Moxley. He's got the confidence of a lot of really good people. He delivers in my day. I was watching WCW, watching Greg the Hammer bout.
When we do now.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, they killed it. They had a great match. Ludwig Kaiser looks like he's in the midst of a little bit of a push here, which I like because he's got the confidence of a lot of really good people.
I was watching this match and I was having the best freaking time. This match was phenomenal. I started to get worried here because I didn't want Sheamus to defeat Braun. And I didn't want it for the sake that Braun had lost the title relatively quickly to Jay and then got it back. I didn't want to see him lose it so quickly again to Sheamus. And the crowd was getting way behind Sheamus. Like at certain points, I started getting the same feeling that I got when the crowd was getting behind Jay. And I'm like, oh my God, are they going to have Sheamus win the title here, right? And I started to panic for a second, but whatever. I was enjoying the match. It was so good. Freaking everything. The Frankensteiner, the clothesline to the commentary, to Sheamus on the commentary table. That scary freaking dive God, what do you call it? When Braun Breaker went straight in his head, went like straight into Sheamus's chest. Like that was nuts. Whatever. That was cool. A lot of really great moments. When Ludwig Kaiser team, I was so invested in the match. I did not see Ludwig Kaiser coming here at all. Like I didn't see it happening. And so he's really, really surprised me here. I feel like most of the time you can sort of see this stuff in hindsight, and this time I didn't. Of course, prior to that, Gunther had told him, like, you need to be your own man. You need to go out there and you need to like make an impression, right? Whatever it is that he said to him. And so I thought that Ludwig Kaiser did just that. It's unfortunate that it came at the cost of us seeing either Sheamus defeat Braun Breaker or Braun Breaker defeat Sheamus. It sucks that it happened like that, but I did think that this was a really, really good explosive moment that meant something for Ludwig Kaiser because I think from this point on, we are going to be seeing Ludwig Kaiser on a different, in a different way on the show.
You're going to see an awful lot of explosive moments this weekend for AEW Full Gear. I'll be live. Choke it away. So if you don't have any confidence in your team, bet against them at BetOnline AG. Safe and secure environment, highest credit. Came back and laid a whooping. At least before we get that match. It is so done. Alpha Academy meet with Kofi, and then Woods meets with Kofi. Woods is fired up here. Is this doing anything for you?
Yeah, actually it is. I like how grumpy Xavier Woods is. He's doing a really good job of being a whiner. Like he's just whining about everything, complaining, bitching and moaning, all of that. And he's doing a really good job of it to the point where I'm like, Kofi.
There's a voice that says, made for more. You're meant to be a man of purpose.
Two options are Brock Lesnar, which is not going to happen. See a lot of people mentioning, oh, what if there's a beast incarnate at Survivor Series? No. Give me a break. Brock Lesnar will not be back on TV until Vince and his lawsuit is finally finished. Or when Trump pardons Vince McMahon and everything is settled with Janelle Grant. Nothing with Brock Lesnar is happening on TV this year. Could it happen next year? Sure. Anything can happen in the WWE, and I'm sure that they would like to have Brock Lesnar back on television. Brock Lesnar's out. So it's not Cody, it's not Seth, it's not Brock, it's not LA Knight, it's not Braun Breaker. The other option would be, being that he made his return at a house show for WWE this weekend, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman has mega history with Roman Reigns. He's got a lot of history with Bronson Reed. They just had a colossal 2-month feud on Monday Night Raw that ended basically, for now, in a last monster standing match. I think Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman would like to have unfinished business, being that that match ended in a very chaotic way. Now, I don't see that happening, and I would not do that myself, but it is an option for WWE to ponder. Outside that, there are no more options but one. And you guys know who I'm talking about just based off the process of elimination. The way that I would do this now after tonight's ending being such a letdown for WWE at the end of Monday Night Raw, this is how I would do it. Rollins basically gave you the answer. Under no circumstances would he team with Roman Reigns. Good. Good. I hope he keeps his word because it's only going to empower his character a little bit more, and it's going to make him look like he stands on his own 2 feet, and he's not a hypocrite, and he truly is an architect, and he truly is a revolutionary. Fine. Don't let him go back on his word because whatever you do and whatever you concoct as a story is not going to make sense of what he said tonight. It would basically render his promo useless tonight. So he's out. Rollins is out. I would not announce a fifth man. I would not announce the fifth man. I would let all of this linger going on into November 30th. OG Bloodline is worried. They only got 4. And we got Solo Sikoa and his team with fucking Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu manning that side. It's over. The OG Bloodline is finished. Rollins has already denied Roman twice. Let's make it a 3rd time. 3 times, and that's it. Maybe we'll get him axed again.
Seth Rollins, once again being asked today by all the baby faces backstage if he would join, he made some really good points. Like, I would be there for you, I'd be there for you, I'd be there for you, I'd stand there with you, but I would not stand there with Roman Reigns. He's made it very clear he hates Roman Reigns. We know this. Now, given what went down in the main event with Bloodline getting involved and all of these guys going out there and having Seth Rollins' back, it made a good point that he should have these people on his back, but I don't think they did enough yet to justify Seth Rollins changing his mind yet. But of course, we still got another SmackDown. We still got another Raw and another SmackDown in.
Yep.
So look, if Seth Rollins changes his mind, they got to do it in a way where Seth Rollins is justified for changing his mind and doesn't look stupid for changing his mind.
Yeah, because if it's just, oh, well, he's mad at Bronson Reed, well, what I could see is he had to kind of beg, I don't want to say beg, but like really push Adam Pearce to get this match, this Bronson Reed match. And now Adam Pearce can be like, listen, I'm done with you two. Like, you guys cannot keep tearing up our show. At some point, I have to at least take control of this show. I've got to somehow push for some semblance of control, and I can't do that. And this is the only way Seth can get to it. They had a fine match. Of course, Solo causes Bronson Reed to win. I wonder if Bloodline just saw that Bronson Reed's name on the Indies was Jonah Rock, and they're like, he must be related to The Rock. He's in. We got him. He's a part of the Bloodline. Throw up your ones. We're good to go.
I mean, he does make them look a lot more cooler.
You're from an island. That's good enough.
That'll pass for us.
They're gonna put Anna Bauer on their team next. They're gonna tribal tattoo or something like that. Rhea, how about you? All right, cool. She likes rock music. That's close enough.
Oh my god.
The main event, like I said, it was good. It just, it was used to build war games as opposed to being a blow off to one of the better feuds this year in WWE, which I guess for the long term consideration of this program, not a terrible thing. It's just whenever I see them wrestle, I've come to expect something unbelievable, and this was used to catapult something else, which is fine, I guess.
I was so happy to see Bronson Reed win. I was thrilled.
Me too.
I was excited. I love the way that it happened. Of course, the match wasn't, 5 stars or anything because of all the outside interference, and it kind of cut with the time that they had for the actual match. But the actual match was fine. The main event was fine. It got exactly what we wanted. It it did two things, right? Like you said, the war game stuff, and then on top of that, it gave Bronson Reed his win, and I was very thrilled to see that. And I thought it was like really cool to see Raw end with Bronson Reed's face right there, cheering and doing things, and having him be the lasting image that you see. As we know, that's very important too. So I thought they did a lot in this main event to accomplish what needed to be accomplished, and now it's just a matter of what will they do to make us all convinced and Seth Rollins convinced to join along with Roman Reigns' team for War Games.
Guys, we got a big week, or big 2 weeks on Fightful's YouTube and our podcast platforms everywhere.
And
Just
he
a
loses
reminder,
to Ray
we are
Wyatt.
on your Amazon.
I think next fucking week. How dare you?
That was it. That segment, to me, is the catalyst for what we will see over the next 2 weeks. That segment was done for a reason. And as soon as I heard all of the CM Punk discourse on social media, it's got to be Punk. It's got to be Punk. Punk is going to be the fifth man. I thought back to that CM Punk and Paul Heyman promo. And I said, you know what? We may be onto something here. So how do we do it? Is Punk the fifth man? It's looking like right now, CM Punk could possibly be the man, the perfect fit for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. But how do we get there? Don't announce him until Survivor Series. Paul Heyman comes out in Vancouver at Survivor Series when his number is drawn to enter the match. He comes out, he does his whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, crowd goes crazy. He introduces CM Punk. It would be very weird for CM Punk to not be on Survivor Series this year after it was the show last year, which he returned to the WWE. The only hang-up would be he just wrestled inside a Hell in the Cell. He wrestled Drew McIntyre in one of the best Hell in the Cell matches the company's ever produced. Does he want, and does WWE want, to put him inside a War Games after wrestling inside a Hell in the Cell? That's the only holdup. But if you're going to X CM Punk, he'd probably give you, fuck yeah, man. Punk is here to make money. Punk is here to make memories. Punk is here to fix everything that happened all those years ago. And if it makes sense, and it leaves a legacy, and it leaves a lasting impression and a memory, Punk is going to do it. So I don't see why it would be a problem for Punk. In fact, if you ask him, he'll probably give you a fucking yes before.
That's the one that he originally had with
Yeah.
Scarlett.
It's Scarlett saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
And with AOP there, oh my god, that would be great. Maybe not Miz, but I would love Miz to be lip syncing it the whole time like Scarlett did.
Maybe he could be doing the Scarlett dances.
Guys, next week will be me and Denise's last post show together. She does have post show plans that she'll tell you about momentarily, but make sure you guys join us. It's going to be a very fun show next week. We're going to look back on the last 5 years and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about some of our Fightful memories and the like. But Denise, tell
Did
me.
you know that? I didn't even know we were doing all that.
Listen, I ain't running videos or anything, but we'll reminisce a little bit. We'll have people send in super chats, humber chats, talk about all the ways that I improved your life. No big deal.
Yeah, seriously.
Look at
Oh my
that
god.
incredulous.
Is going to look at this. 1 year ago, wasn't he in War Games? Didn't he team with Cody Rhodes? Didn't he reluctantly team with Cody Rhodes? He did it. And then who showed up at the end of that match to steal all of the work that Seth Rollins put into that match? It was CM Punk. Second year in a row, CM Punk shows up and steals Seth Rollins' thunder all over again. And Rollins is not even a part of the match. They asked Rollins, he said no. So CM Punk says yes at the request of Paul Heyman, and it makes Punk the better man compared to Seth Rollins, and it makes Seth Rollins look like a petty bitch. Rollins is going to be bothered by this. Seth Rollins is going to be bothered by this, and that is going to kickstart the feud on the way to Rollins and Punk at WrestleMania. That's it. Where do we go after Survivor Series? Well, weeks ago, it was CM Punk who made a mention of Gunther. He wants a world championship match. After Gunther takes care of Damian Priest at Survivor Series, we got this little show called Saturday Night's Main Event. You could do it there. If not, they're going to need a major match on Netflix, January 6th. CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who wins? Clearly not Punk. Why? Seth Rollins. Rollins is going to interfere in that match and cost Punk the title, and that will carry them through the Royal Rumble, and that will carry them through WrestleMania season and kickstart the feud and get the WrestleMania match that should have been this year at 40, at 41. Rollins and Punk, one-on-one, no title, only ego and only bragging rights. And that's how you do it, and that's how you kickstart Punk and Rollins going into WrestleMania season. And that's what I would do as far... Tell me it doesn't. Go back and reference the June 20...
Yeah, I mean, I've got no reason to believe that they don't have some sort of connection still. But guys, I want to say thank you all so much. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Leave a comment on this video. Please share it as well. Denise and I are both on Blue Sky now as well, as is Fightful. I am also working very hard to increase our footprint on Facebook. If you have high-level experience, like building a Facebook with like hundreds of thousands of likes, followers, all that stuff, hit us up. We definitely need some help over there with that, getting monetized, all that good stuff. Until next time, my friends, we're out.
It's not Braun Strowman. It's not Brock Lesnar. It's not Cody Rhodes. It is CM Punk. All of it makes sense. And if that's the way that they go, I expect it to go over big for WWE. And we're going to be in for some special times, man, come November 30th, if that's the case. Looking forward to it. That's what we're doing. And no, I need to say this now. No Tola Tonga, Hikuleo, no Zilla Fatu, no Lance on Hawaii, no new debut. You don't put that on a new up-and-comer in that match with no build or no star power behind that individual. You know, that is not a spot to debut a new talent for the very first time. You do it to tie up loose ends that you did in June with Punk and Heyman, and I think that's the reason why we get CM Punk as the fifth man. Boom. Love it. Let me know what you guys think of that down below in the comment section. Thank you guys very much for all your support, man. Love it. We got 2,000 people in here on a very lame and tame Monday night. Can't wait for the excitement to pick up after Survivor Series. But if you guys are here, man, I would really appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up and leave me a comment down below.
But you also have Kaiser, like clearly going after the title that Gunther.
That's how I feel about this. So even though this was Kaiser standing on his own, it just felt like more of the same. It's like, okay, here we go again. Here we go again. Sheamus and Kaiser. It just kind of felt like more of the same. The real test, I think, for how serious they are about a Kaiser push is what comes after this. But I am hopeful that they'll follow through on it because, as I said before, he has a lot of potential. I'm not even talking about world championships or anything like that. He has the potential to stand on his own and be a solid mid to upper mid card level performer on this brand. You know, he could be Intercontinental champion.
Their holiday deals coming up, man. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be tremendous. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And make sure you got.
This is the
Pointed out that Seth, you put your differences aside last year in War Games. You teamed with me, you teamed with Jay, you teamed with Cody Rhodes. You don't like Cody Rhodes, but you put your differences aside and you joined with us in War Games. And you can do the same thing now, which is a fair point. Rollins told all three men, look, I would love to stand by you guys. I would absolutely, Sammy, I would stand by you. Jay, I would stand by you. Jimmy, I would absolutely stand by you. But what I absolutely cannot do under any circumstances is partner up with that tyrant, Roman Reigns. Rollins said he would love to get Reed inside that cage and tear it apart. But the potential consequences of Roman Reigns regaining power, it's just not working. Says it may not matter though, because later tonight I'm going to handle Bronson Reed, and I'm going to make it so that you won't have to see him in War Games. You won't even have to worry about him. And then at that point, with him out of the way, whatever you guys do is on you. He wished them all luck, but he said yet again, I'm out. The key word there, never under any circumstances will he stand side by side with Roman Reigns. That's what he said. Any circumstances. What would happen in the main event? Well, we'll find out when we get there. We'll talk more about this. Those were the key words to remember. We got a Dakota Kai video package. She talked about missing 4 months and worrying that there would not be a place for her when she came back, or maybe people just wouldn't care. I would say based on the reaction, was it last week or the week before? I don't know how much they cared. I'm glad she's back. How much people cared, though, that's up for debate. She said, you ask yourself if you're good enough. She said she's never wanted it more, and she vowed to be a champion again. We have the War Raiders taking on Carlito and Dirty Dom. War Raiders, for those who don't know, are next in line for a shot. They earned the right to challenge for the Tag Team Championships. This was many weeks ago. I don't know what they're waiting for here, but they're still waiting for their title match. So they were not losing here in this bout. Standard stuff here from these four. It ended with the Raiders hitting their War Machine finish on Carlito and Eric Pindon. After the match was over, Finn Balor and JD McDonough ran out. They attacked the Vikings from behind. Balor targeted Eric's surgically repaired neck. And then he went up top and hit the double stomp on him. And the tag team champion stood tall. This was a pretty tame beatdown angle. Nothing wrong with this. This is very standard, basic stuff. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Unless I missed it, I don't think they announced when the tag team title match is taking place. I think it might be next week's Raw, but I don't know if they said for sure. That is coming up very soon. Now at this point, the screen glitched out, and we got a new VHS tape that played from the Wyatt Six. And it was Bo Dallas talking about how the trust of the innocent is a liar's most useful tool.
Ring with a microphone. She steamrolls past all of her babyface team, and she gets in Liv Morgan's face and yells, "War Games!" And then she properly headbutts Liv Morgan in the face with her face mask, which looked brutal, and we got a big brawl. Morgan escaped through the crowd. Io Sky wiped everybody out with a moonsault outside the ring, and all of the baby faces stood tall. So we are getting a women's War Games match, and it is official. It will be Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Io Sky against Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Candice LeRae, Nia Jax, and Tiffany Stratton. Fun fact, this will mark Io Sky's 6th War Games match. Io has been in every women's War Games match predating NXT Black and Gold. She's been in every War Games match. She is Miss War Games. So the fact that Io is out there, you see why she's a part of Team Rhea, and Bayley is not. And Bayley is also a part of the storyline as well. But Bianca doesn't really care for Bayley. She doesn't like Bayley at all. She has a mutual respect for Io, and Io is Miss War Games. So that's why she's out there. I hate this. Now, granted, the match, I'm sure the match will be fun, and I'm sure the match may end up being better than the men's match, let's be honest. It was last year. I have a feeling the match is going to be really good. But I can't get over the fact, and this is where all of the people who claim I'm a grifter and I hate AEW and I have my nose so far up Triple H's asshole that I can't see and can't smell. All these people don't know a fucking thing. I complain about WWE and I criticize WWE just as much as I do AEW. I do. And the fact of the matter is, WWE as of late they've been on autopilot mode. We all know that. And I've ranted for weeks that we don't need a women's War Games. It's not needed. It should not be done. And all of this seems so hastily thrown together that it just comes off so manufactured and so forced. I don't like it at all. There's nothing that these women have done throughout the entire year that warrants a War Games match. A Survivor Series traditional 5-on-5, sure. But we live in a day and age where WWE's got to do one for the men, they got to do the same thing for the women. When it comes to all these big types of matches, Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, War Games, the women are going to get equal treatment to the men. In this case, it's not needed, nor does it make the match feel special. In fact, it just waters the match down, where you got people online asking now to stop the yearly War Games tradition, because if you're going to go about things in this direction, in this way, it's only watering down the concept if you have to rush and quickly put together something with no emotion or no feeling. The women's division has not had a story all year outside of Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and it's been a bumpy, rocky road getting to that final match where Rhea takes the championship back from Liv Morgan. There's been injuries, stoppages.
Realizing your life purpose, your vocation, is a process of spiritual awakening.
I don't know what they would have done at Survivor Series with all of these women involved. It almost feels like they rushed Rhea Ripley back to television, put the mask on her, and are letting her go out there, get medical clearance with the mask on to compete inside of War Games. Just for this match. I get why people are complaining about the War Games stipulation happening every year. It's because of this. Meanwhile, the bloodline shit's been building for 4 years. This has been a constant thing on WWE television all year. It deserves a War Games, and it's family. It's all family. So yes, it deserves a War Games. But the women, no. And this was a very Vince-like segment from Triple H. It really was. Have everybody out there, they set the teams aside, and they yell, War Games! That's great. Great. It doesn't matter how cool it sounds when it comes off Rhea Ripley's lips. It's still very forced and very manufactured. But we'll see what happens. I request one of two things at the War Games match, if this is the match. Either an Io over the moonsault, which we have seen before, even she's done it inside a trash can and jumped off the top of the cage. So I'm sure we'll see an over the moonsault by Io. Or the prettiest moonsault ever by Tiffany Stratton off the top of the cage. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Baby faces are going to win, and I feel like Rhea Ripley is going to get her revenge, at least for now, on Liv Morgan. Mixed tag team match. Ivy Nile and Chad Gable against Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Mixed tag team match to open Monday Night Raw. Chad Gable continues to be, he's a winner. I want to preface this by saying Chad Gable's a winner. He's one of the best talents that the WWE's got currently. But WWE has not given Chad Gable any favor with the audience. He loses more than anyone on Monday Night Raw. He is nothing but a loss after loss after loss after loss. And this match was no different. Now, there's no real story here. They're just putting all of these men and women in certain situations just for the sake of using them on television, creating some discourse between them, and giving us random matches with no real direction, story, or emotion. There's no story here. Zero. Chad Gable and Ivy Nile. They got this little thing going on with Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Ivy Nile snapped Vega before the match. They brawled to the outside. And the referee started the match with Rey and Gable. Nile distracted Rey, allowing Gable to take over. Gable and Nile put the boots to Rey. Referee held Vega back because she couldn't be in the ring unless Nile was the legal woman. Rey tagged in Vega eventually, who hit Nile with double knees in the corner. She goes for two, but Nile blocked the suplex and took her out with a big clothesline. Nile was in control. We go to commercial break. Vega, we come back from the break. You see Vega hit a tornado DDT. Vega went for the tag, but Gable grabbed her by the leg. She then hit an enziguri, tagged in Rey Mysterio.
Two of them close together to close the show. Of course, we all saw what happened on SmackDown on Friday night, so we already know that Bronson Reed is going to be the fifth man on Solo's Bloodline at Survivor Series. We already knew that. This was another good match from these two. This was not as good as their Crown Jewel match. The Crown Jewel match was better than this. And in hindsight, having now seen what they have done over these last few weeks, I can honestly say, I will sit here and tell you, I feel exactly the same way that I felt after I saw Seth Rollins pin Bronson Reed in Saudi Arabia. It never should have happened. Bronson Reed should have won there. Bronson Reed could have won here. Does not hurt Seth Rollins. There was no need for Seth to go over in that match. Look, it didn't kill Bronson Reed. They made him look strong, but there was no reason for him to be beaten. Maybe they just, I don't remember now. We had Cody won on that show, so it's not even like none of the other baby faces won. I was thinking maybe they wanted to have a baby face win, but Cody won in the main event. Because I know, Solo's Bloodline won, and you had two heels in the women's Crown Jewel match, so you were going to have a heel go over no matter what. Whatever their rationale was for it, I think it was the wrong move. But Seth Rollins now loses this match because he allowed himself. It really is his own fault. He can't even blame Solo Sikoa. It's his own fucking fault. But he can now blame the Bloodline for him losing this match. And you would think, well, that's going to be enough for him to be like, I got to get my hands on Bronson Reed. I got to get my hands on Solo Sikoa. Count me in. I'm going to be the fifth man in War Games. The only problem with that is we remember what he told Sammy and the Usos earlier in this very show when he made it very clear, under no circumstances will I ever stand side by side in team with Roman Reigns. Never in wrestling. It's a funny word. It doesn't seem to mean what it means to you and me. Never really doesn't seem to stick in wrestling, okay? So always keep that in mind. But he was pretty declarative about that. And so the problem with that now is that if next week Seth Rollins all of a sudden has a change of heart and he says, I'm in, right? This week I'm out. If next week I'm in, he's going to look awfully dumb.
I tried to forgive you.
Because all it took was him losing the match off a distraction finish for him to change his mind. Like, he made it clear the reason he doesn't want to team with Roman Reigns, he doesn't want to give him a win and put more power back into Roman's hands because he knows what he will do with that power. It took 4 years for somebody to knock this guy off. So he cannot bring himself to be part of something that is going to potentially allow Roman to claw back some of that power that he lost. His power he talks about. So it's going to take a hell of a lot more, you would think, than what we saw here at the end of this show for him to change his mind. He's going to look like a fucking idiot if all of a sudden he says, okay, I'm in. So where does that lead us? Where does that lead us now? With one Raw left to go before Survivor Series, where do we go from here? Who's the fifth man? I still think Seth Rollins has to be the favorite, but if it's not going to be Seth, who's it going to be? I floated some potential ideas on the podcast yesterday. 2 names that stick out. And no, Brock Lesnar is not one of them. CM Punk is, though. It's hard for me to imagine CM Punk coming off of a Hell in a Cell match, and the very next match that he's in is another Hell in a Cell, basically, with 2 rings instead of 1. You're going to put him right back in a cage match? It's not impossible, but it's hard for me to imagine. But you could come up with a scenario where Paul Heyman, who made it very clear many months ago, he told Roman Reigns, look, Punk is off limits. He's my friend. So for me, keep away from him. CM Punk is off. So we know the 2 of them still maintain a friendship. Now we don't know what's going to happen with Paul Heyman. Roman tried to get him on the phone the other day. He got a dial tone. He couldn't get him on the phone. Is he going to turn on Roman Reigns and side with Solo's crew? We don't know. I mean, that wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. But maybe they play this thing up for dramatics. And if I'm WWE at this point, you got 1 show left to go. I think the way to go is to leave it 5-on-4, heading into Survivor Series. Don't even tell us next week who the 5th man is going to be. Leave it open-ended. You're almost at the finish line already. You wanted to add a 5th man on either side. That was what they wanted to do. They couldn't keep it 4-on-4. You got to add a 5th man. Okay. Well, you want to really play it up for drama? Don't tell us next week who it's going to be. Let Roman and his crew go in there thinking, shit, we don't have anybody. We have exhausted all of our options. They went to LA Knight. And we saw Jimmy Uso last week. He went to Braun Breaker to have a conversation. We went to this person and that person and Seth, and nobody wants to be with us. And honestly, why would they? Nobody, none of the top baby faces in this company who had to deal with the bloodline over the last 4 years or had a shot at the WWE Championship and got screwed. Drew McIntyre is another one. Kevin Owens. All these people, nobody should want a team with Roman Reigns. Their response to Roman Reigns should be, fuck you. That should be their response to him. Go fuck yourself. He should go into Survivor Series thinking that it's going to be a handicap match. Then when you get to the pay-per-view, that's where you hear Paul Heyman's voice. And Paul Heyman walks out, and Paul Heyman is the one who introduces us to the 5th man. And then you could trot out CM Punk or whoever it's going to be. I'll throw out, and the other name I threw out on the podcast, and it may not be as marquee of a name as Punk or Brock or someone like that, but I don't think you can discount Braun Strowman as a possibility. We saw Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. They had their last monster standing match, and Strowman beat him. He tore his groin in that match. He just made his return in a dark match on Friday after SmackDown. So he's back. He's medically cleared, and he's back. We didn't see him on the show tonight, but again, this was taped. So maybe we'll see him on the show next Monday. Could they put Braun Strowman in War Games? You got Braun Strowman on one side, Bronson Reed on the other. Sure. You have to at least consider his name as a possibility. But I just think that the way you introduce this 5th man is you have Paul Heyman come out and do it at the pay-per-view. Don't even tell us this, right? You're so close anyway. Just hold off on it. Keep people guessing. Leave it as a cliffhanger.
Who's the 5th man, woman?
That's what
You'll know who the 5th man is.
This show this week may be taped, but as I said
gentlemen.
at the top, I thought it was a much better Raw than the one we
My
got last.
name is Paul Heyman.
I wish
And
the spoilers weren't
tonight,
floating around, but
I represent my tribal
I actually
chief.
thought it was a good show.
Tomorrow night, you will know.
What did you think of Raw? Taped from last week, according to the Twitter poll, 74% thumbs up for tonight's show. 26% thumbs down. And HBK C83 has been fined by Bryan Danielson. You have pissed off Bryan Danielson, and he has levied a fine. For shame. For shame.
Getting him some. Adam Pearce didn't seem too bothered by this backstage scuffle between Priest and Gunther. They're telling the story of Damian Priest being the alpha male here. Basically is what it is. And Gunther being the beta male. So we got the alpha and the beta. It's going to be a situation where Gunther is not going to really be confident in himself to beat Damian Priest. They needed a different twist going into their match at Survivor Series as compared to what they did at SummerSlam. It was the other way around. It was Priest. He had all the shit going on around with the Judgment Day. He didn't know what was going on. A lot of confusion, which kind of cost him the match, obviously, because Balor, he cost him the title at SummerSlam. Now, at Survivor Series, it is Gunther who lost to Cody at Crown Jewel, and he basically threw it in Cody's face. You're going to be a secondary champion. You are not the real world champion. I'm going to be the world heavyweight champion. I'm the Crown Jewel of WWE, and he lost. So now he's a little down on himself. And I appreciate that they're slightly humanizing Gunther, only to kind of amp it up and turn that up again, going into Survivor Series, going into Saturday night's main event, and whatever else is happening with Gunther going into the new year. I know the rumors of Goldberg are looming out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they take this Gunther character going into Survivor Series and then what happens after Survivor Series, especially with what I predicted between Gunther and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I like what they're doing here. I like it a lot. Braun Breaker and Sheamus. This is for the Intercontinental Championship. This match came about after Sheamus basically interrupted Braun Breaker last week and asked Braun Breaker for a championship match. They got into it last week, and they got a match tonight. The Intercontinental Championship is the only title that Sheamus has not won in all of WWE. He's won every single title and has achieved every accolade in WWE but this. And I'm loving this. The fact that Sheamus is still eyeing that Intercontinental title, man. I love it. This was a banger match. And they got some great chemistry. Sheamus has got good chemistry with anybody. And you can see that Braun Breaker, man, anytime he gets in the ring, he's just getting better. He's just a fucking unbelievable athlete. He's great to watch. He's super fun to watch. He's believable. People really enjoy what he's bringing to the table. When he speaks, people believe. When he wrestles, people believe. And there's more dogs barking in the arenas every single week. Maybe not tonight with the tape show, but every week, dogs are barking for Braun Breaker. So we go into a commercial break. Literally 90 seconds into the match, we go into a commercial break. Braun hit a leaping clothesline off the apron, and Sheamus rolls over the announce table. That was a brutal spot. So we come back from the break. Braun knocks Sheamus down with a dive off the top rope to the outside. Sheamus fired up in the ring, hit a power slam, clothesline, lifting knee. Then he did the 10 beats of Bodrum. Sheamus followed up with a diving knee drop, and he goes for a cover, and he only gets a 2 count. Braun came back with a backstabber for 2. Sheamus followed with an avalanche.
All right, now let's go back to the Monday Night Raw. So we got Odell Chandler, Bray Wyatt, Ripley return, Kathy Kelly on the ring announcement. The Prayer Feuding Collective vowed to make an example of the Cobra Kai next week on Raw. More WWE signings, AW plan leak. Can we believe beyond it? Kenny Omega said there are no issues with AEW partner. how the wise man ties into war games, Rikishi Khan's message, and how Paul Heyman ties into war games. The announcement of Raw on Netflix, Becky Lynch confirmed return. We know that AEW Full Gear this Sunday. Wednesday will be the go-home show for the pay-per-view. Kenny Omega, both delusional comments. Scarlett warns Nikki Cross. Wait, I think I saw this didn't I? I think I did. Concerns over one NXT.
It was a very successful Friday night for Netflix.
Scott Ibmore handed the WWE SMM main event. Over 60 million household themed Jake Paul and Mike Tyson lost their head issues streaming the fight. This worried pro wrestling fan with WWE Raw loading into Netflix. What does WWE think about this issue? Also, Scott Steve Elmore meets with WWE officials at the Performance Center. Major stars set to return to WWE with the WWE Raw Netflix debut. And Cody Rhodes continues to tease what he's doing at WrestleMania 41. Um, well, I think I made this video long enough. Might as well stop the video. Might as well just end it. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Might as well just end the video.
Bronson Reed staring him down. Maybe we get Jacob Fatu staring at the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe we get Obafemi up from NXT and he eyes the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus is the right guy. Sheamus and Braun Breaker, WrestleMania 41, IC title. You give him the WrestleMania moment. You give him that title he's never won. That's the vision. That's the way I see it playing out for Sheamus next year. Jey Uso. He's with Jimmy and Sami Zayn as they approach Seth Rollins in the back, obviously looking for the fifth man for their team at War Games. They pitched to Seth that they've come together and put their differences aside. Sami said, listen, last year you put your differences aside and your hatred aside for Cody Rhodes. You guys had a tumultuous history. You opted to team with him at War Games last year. So do it again this year and stand side by side with us at War Games. Seth said he'd stand side by side with Jay. He would stand side by side with Jimmy. He would stand side by side with Sammy all day long. I will never stand side by side under any circumstances with Roman Reigns. He says he won't do it, even though he'd love to get Reed inside the ring. He basically gave you his answer right there. The discussion of Rollins being the fifth man ends with this promo. All the people that want Rollins as the fifth man, you're not getting Rollins as the fifth man because it's not going to make any sense. This promo would be a waste of 3 minutes of everybody's life if Rollins goes back because Bronson Reed's in the War Games match. No. WWE will not tell a story that makes sense enough for Rollins to want to be there. They cannot tell a story that makes sense for Rollins to want to be there. What, because Bronson Reed's a part of the fucking bloodline with Solo Sikoa? Oh my God, man. You can't go after Bronson Reed after Survivor Series. He says it's not worth it. It's not worth it. He said putting Roman back in power isn't worth it for him. And he said not for them either. He says he was going to drop Rhea tonight so he won't be able to enter War Games for Solo. He wished them luck and left. Jimmy comically said, I guess that's a no yeet. Rollins is not the fifth man. We got a vignette airing on Dakota Kai, who talked about the emotional challenges of working for her comeback. But she said that she's never wanted it more and loves it even more to be a pro wrestler. Gee, tell me they're making a women's intercontinental title without telling me they're making an intercontinental title. Dakota Kai will be one of the recipients of an intercontinental championship in the women's division on Monday night. I just hope that WWE's got plans to house 2 mid-card titles on top of women's tag team titles with a lack of depth in these divisions. Can they do it? I don't think so. Do I want to see it? No. There only needs to be 1 mid-card title, and they should have made an intercontinental title, and it should have been split between both shows. Just my 2 cents on the matter.
The reason why they
War Raiders.
the tag team title because they're
They wrestled Carlito and Dominic Mysterio. This was very academic.
So
Judgment Day was in control before we got to the commercial break.
because everyone knows that
And
these titles are shit.
they dominated early. Carlito distracted the referee. Dominic hit Eric from behind to take advantage.
Until they deactivate them.
Dominic hit a cannonball. He goes for a cover, gets a 2 count. Ivar gets out of the predicament with Dom, suplex Dom into Carlito, and an apple fell out of Carlito's pockets.
Dependability, reliability, confidence, everything you want in a partner. Or it.
1, 2, 3. Balor and McDonough attacked Eric and Ivar post-match. They targeted Eric's neck injury, and Balor laid him out with a coup de grace. That's going to happen eventually. And you know what's going to happen when that match happens eventually? The War Raiders are going to win the tag team titles. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm assuming it should happen. The way I would do it is I would do it on the Monday Night Raw following Survivor Series. I think that would be a great way to go about it. I could see them doing it on the go-home show next week. I don't want to see that, especially if it's a taped show. But I would like to see them win the tag team titles in front of a live audience, hot audience, following Survivor Series. I think that's the best way to go about it. Bo Dallas, he had a segment. We got a Miz segment with Karrion Kross earlier in the show, and we got a VHS tape segment with Bo Dallas, who was not dressed as Uncle Howdy. And I know, everybody said it online, and I know, I agree. The uncanny characteristics and facial features of Bo Dallas to his brother are ridiculous. Like, you watch this promo tonight, and I swear to God, you saw Bray on your television screens. That's how similar both of these men look. And it's a great thing. Love it. VHS tape played of Bo Dallas without the mask, saying the trust of the innocent is a liar's most useful tool. He said they offered Miz salvation and freedom from the pit. I'm assuming that's the pit of hell. He said he tried to warn him, but he damned himself. I'm sorry for what happens next. You chose this. He says his hands will forever be bloodstained because of his actions, and he will lose what matters most. I never wanted this, he said in a very, very evil tone. He will lose what matters most to the Miz. His money, his fame, his beautiful wife, Maurice. What matters most to the Miz? Survivor Series, 4-on-4, Final Testament, and the Wyatt 6. Let's do it. traditional Survivor Series match. We got a vignette with Lyra Valkyria, who said when
Well, I made the video long enough. Now I can end the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I will make more videos on my YouTube channel. And also, I will continue my gameplay walkthrough with Mafia 3. I will do part 14 tomorrow. I will continue the Let's Play. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.